And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. How we doing today? Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Shane if you're new here. And this channel is all about building an easy Apple home, smart home. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. We do these live streams every week if you are new here and this is your first time. We'll just kind of go over some of the smart home news and stuff like that. If there's anything interesting going on and answer some questions, things like that. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, any technical difficulties. And I did drop a link there, a pinned link if you want to become a member. I see there's a lot of members here in the chat today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and joining me today. Let's say hi to some folks real quick before we get started. We'll do a Q&A here in a little bit once we get through some stuff to talk about. We got some new products to talk about, which is really exciting. Some other new stuff coming out. Ooh, I forgot to add a note. I need to do that. But yeah, good stuff coming. Let's see who we got here. Frederick, what's going on, Frederick? How you doing today? Scott is in the house. William, what's up, William? Brian is here. What's going on, Brian? How you doing? Jeff from Michigan is here. What's up, Jeff from Michigan? Keenan, also from Michigan. Awesome. And Keenan says, we'll go ahead and jump into a question. Have you tested out those Onvis smart plugs? You know, I have not done it yet. I know I said I was going to do it last week, and it is on my list. Actually, just today, I said I'm going to set one up. Haven't gotten around to it, so hopefully today I will, because one of my camera lights that I'm using a smart plug for has not been working so well for me. It's actually one of the Maris Matter plugs, and it's been no response a good bit lately, so I'm thinking about maybe switching that one out, trying one of the Onvis ones, seeing if I have better luck with that. Anyways, moving on. Let's see who else we got here. Say hi to some folks. Silverhammer Surveillance, what up? George is in the house. Lone Star Trent's here. What's going on? Pete, what's up, Pete? Trey is here. All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Drop some comments in there. We can talk, and any smart home stuff you want to talk about, let me know. I got a few things we'll kind of go through. Like I said, then we can do some questions and answers, that kind of thing. What's your favorite and coolest automation so far? Well, that is so hard to choose, and it really changes from day to day. I would say probably my favorite, and it's just a simple one, but my favorite every day when the blinds all open and close. You just can't beat that. I love that one so much. They open with the sunrise. They all close with the sunset. Like I said, super simple, but oh man, it just makes me so happy every day when that one goes off. They also all close when I leave the house and things like that, so I have some automations around location. So I love that one. Love that one. Like I said, easy, not super fancy, but that's the one that brings me happiness every day. Let's see. All right, so let's jump into some stuff, guys. So I don't know if you follow me over on Instagram or whatever, follow the news. You may have seen that Eve, one of our favorite smart home companies, has released some new products. So let me switch over to my screen share. Oh, there's our Discord server. YouTube live stream now. So if you are a member, you can get into our Discord server over here. But anyways, that's not what I was trying to show you. Here we go. Eve Flare. This makes me happy. So I was so happy to find out that this was coming out. I had heard a while ago that they were going to redo the Eve Flare to support Thread. It is now here. I hadn't heard anything about this in quite a while, so I wasn't so sure it was going to happen, but it's here, and this really makes me happy. If you can see way back there, that little ball that's on the shelf, that is the old Eve Flare. I have one up here. I have one in my living room. I love these things. They are pretty slow, like the older ones, because they use Bluetooth. Nonetheless, I still love them just because they're super cool. They have wireless charging. You can take them outside. They're IP65 water resistant. So just really cool little product there. They have one that now supports Thread. This is available now. And like I said, I'm super excited about this one. I don't have the Thread one yet. I see one or two, some other YouTubers and stuff that have gotten their hands on one. I should be getting one soon. But it's just as awesome as this one. Plus it has Thread, so it's faster. So that's awesome. Green Arrow says, love that nursery video. Thank you. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Yeah, I really had fun making that video. So that was the one that came out this past Sunday. And I encourage you guys to watch that video, even if you're not like building a smart home nursery. I think I need to play around with the title or the thumbnail maybe on that one, because I feel like it's one of those videos that I love that video, and I think it could perform a little bit better. But yeah, I encourage everybody to watch that one especially if you're kind of getting started with smart home stuff, because even if you're not building a smart nursery, because I go into some friend's house, some friends of mine, I go into their house and they are brand new to smart home stuff, and I'm essentially starting a HomeKit smart home for them. And we just started with the baby nursery. So that's the first room that we kind of made smart, but we had to start from the ground up, with a HomeKit hub and all those things. So we kind of went from the ground up, and it was a lot of fun. I'll probably be doing some more stuff over at their house in the near future at some point once the baby's here. So I'm sure things will be a little chaotic, but yeah, that was cool. And how about that smart crib? That thing is amazing. But thank you for that. I appreciate you watching. And now do one for pet owners. All right, you have to let me know. You have to let me know what you want to see for pet owners. I am a pet owner, so yeah. Cool. All right. So yeah, the Eve flare, like I said, that is available now on the Eve website. I heard that there was some issues with Amazon's listing. So last I checked, which was sometime today, the Eve flare, at least in the US, was not available on Amazon. I was told that that is an issue with the Amazon listing. Something on the Amazon side went wrong. They do have plenty in stock. So I've been getting messages, people saying, it's sold out already and this and that. Because of Amazon, it says it's unavailable. It has not sold out. There was just something wrong, I think, with the Amazon side, the listing there. You can buy it from the Eve website. Here, I'll just go ahead and drop a link for anybody that might be interested. I think there's a link in the video description of this video of the live stream here, but here's a link to that. And I realized too, somebody in the Discord reminded me, I have a discount code from the Eve store that is available, that works on anything on the Eve store. It doesn't work on Amazon, but on the Eve store. So if you want to get one of these, the code should work. And I put the code in the description of the live stream down there, so you can use that. It's like, save you 10%. So, I mean, that's like $10 off this thing. So that's pretty cool if you want to get one of these. It's good through the rest of this month. Let's see. Oh, I see some questions rolling in. How did you pick your lights? Colors often don't match. So these back here right now today are just completely random. I was literally playing around with the live stream. I usually have them all like a warm white, kind of like a orangey red, warm white. But today I was like, screw it, let's have a little fun and do something different. So they're just totally random today. So there was no rhyme or reason in there. I was just playing with some different effects before we went live. We're switching it up a little bit. We got some blues, and I don't know, those back there are just changing totally randomly. So let's see. Okay, now also from Eve is let's see. So yeah, again, Eve Flare supports thread. Man, I'm so excited to get this thing. Follow me over on Instagram if you haven't already. I'll share some more once I get one of those. I'll be all excited about that. Also from Eve is the new Eve shutter switch. So this also came out this week. Not available in my country. This isn't something that we have here in the US. I gotta say though, I'm kind of jealous because these are awesome. I wish like we had something like this to control like all the shutters or blinds or whatever here. But this is pretty awesome if you live in like Europe, UK, whatever. You should be able to get these now. Supports adaptive shading. That's really cool. So again, more stuff from Eve. Let's see. I think this supports Thread 2. I don't recall off the top of my head actually. Yep. So, yep. The Eve shutter switch does support Thread also. So, you know, Eve is just killing it with all the Thread stuff. Really cool. So yeah, you can get that now as well. Another product that somebody sent to me, I can't remember who sent this or where I saw it. So if it was you, let me know, drop a comment. But I saw, again, somebody showed me this, and this isn't something I've heard much about. This is a SMART AC controller by Natatmo. So I think this is new, and it does support Apple Home, which you can see right there, as well as the others. And this is essentially like a little kind of, basically it's an IR blaster that kind of works with your AC unit. So if you have an AC unit that, you know, has like an IR remote and a little screen or something, this should work with it and should be able to convert your AC unit into something smart and work with HomeKit. So this is pretty cool. I think this kind of fills a gap in, I think there's a lot of people who have these kinds of AC units that don't have any options. So this is, you know, could be an option for you. I'll drop a link to this in case anybody, if that kind of fits your description and you want to check that out. Oh, okay, like the Tado, I don't know how to say that one, or the Sensibo. Okay, so the Sensibo is like that. I thought the Sensibo was a little different, but thank you for clarifying that. Awesome. Question, does the Acara U100 roller shade work in the US? If so, is there anywhere to order it? It is not available in the US. That is, I don't know really why they haven't brought that here. I guess it's just not as popular of a device, you know, around here. But no, that's not available. I mean, it would work here if you could get one, but you can't. Yeah, they're not available to purchase in the US for whatever reason. Let's see. Oh yeah, and by the way, that smart, that Natatmo AC controller looks like it's $119, so not too bad. You can get a 2-pack for $200. Maybe if you have some window units or something. I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool solution there. All right, let's see. I see you guys got some questions already. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I have heard of Sensible. I haven't heard of Misa. I'm not familiar with that one, but Sensible, I do know some people who have used that. I have not. Michael says Sensible works great, so awesome. Yeah, I've heard good things from those who I know who do have them. And there we go, some little more information from HomeKit. The Natatmo, Tado, and Sensibo are in fact IR remotes, but specific for AC. So yep, that's what I was kind of reading into also. So very cool. Thank you for that. And yeah, so I also put on here iOS 16.4 or 5. Where are we at now? I was hoping that would be available by today. It should be out any day now. Looking forward to that one. That should bring us, you know, some improvements. Those of us using Matter and Thread stuff especially. So it's not out yet, but the release candidate has been released. So we should see that any day now. By next week's live stream, we should be able to update our stuff to 16.5. So I did want to mention that also, so you guys can look out for that, especially if you've had, I don't know, if you've been having any issues, it could help. So I'm really excited about that because I think with this update, I'll be able to finally add Matter devices to Google Home without using an Android device. So I've got like one of my friend's Android devices over here because I don't own any. So I've had to borrow a friend's Android device for like months now in order to get Matter devices into Google Home, just because the iOS version hasn't supported it. Larry says, isn't iOS 16.5 supposed to have Thread 1.3? Do you know what the improvements to 1.3 is going to be? Yeah, so that is correct from my understanding. Yeah, and so it gets pretty technical. So there is an article here. I was kind of reading into this. There's a couple of them out. I think The Verge put out a good article too about this kind of stuff. But let's see if we can kind of get it in a nutshell here. Seamless response across Matter devices. Thread 1.3 enables Matter device to join users' IP networks while enabling low power. So the main benefit from my understanding of Thread 1.3 is going to be different thread border routers will be able to kind of join and share the same thread network. So right now that's not the case, which is kind of defeats the purpose. So if you have like stuff on your HomePod Mini's thread network, that's technically a different thread network than, I don't know, Google. Let's see, what is Google Home, I guess, a thread border router, or if you have like a Nest Hub Max or something. So I don't know, it should improve that a lot, which in theory could make your thread mesh networks better if you have multiple border routers, which a lot of us do. Some of us do, I guess. Lawrence says Thread 1.3 bonus Apple TV 4K, HomePod, Eros, Echoes, Nest Hubs, all forming a single thread network. There you go. Basically what I was trying to say there. So thank you for that, Lawrence. Yeah, so essentially all these thread networks can share the same thread network from different manufacturers. So it should really benefit those of us, especially trying to use Matter and stuff like that. Yes, thank you guys. Appreciate it. So yeah, look out for iOS 16.5. Should be any day now. I don't know, it could be out there by the time this stream is over. But yeah, so I think that's all the relevant stuff. If you guys have anything you saw, let me know. Let's see, where is the promised NanoLeaf 8.5 firmware for shapes make them a border router? I think the shapes do act as border routers already. I think that has happened. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they currently are border routers. Let's see, you got the update to the M2 hub. The Matter, is it the Matter update? Is that what you're talking about? Are you going to do it? Curious. All right, so I'll try to answer some questions now. If you guys have questions, just drop it in the chat. You can use the word question, like preface your comment with the word question, and it'll highlight for me, and I'll try to answer those best I can. We'll try to stay away from the really technical questions because all the troubleshooting stuff like this. My HomeKit hub stopped responding. Apple TV 4K, HomePod, and HomePod Mini. Power cycle before I left work, but no change. Anything else I can try? This is like kind of the standard like troubleshooting questions we get here. I mean, if your HomeKit hubs are not responding, obviously power cycle them. The next thing I would do would be to power cycle or reboot my router. Hopefully that would do it. Usually those two things will do it. It's probably an issue with your router or your Wi-Fi or your network. Let's see. Jay says, question, hi Shane, what is the best wireless outdoor camera that you would recommend? There's really no good, I shouldn't say that. There are some good options. There's not many for HomeKit, native HomeKit. Let's go to Amazon. And really, Eufy, I hate to mention Eufy because of the privacy issues they had. Wasn't too crazy about the way they handled that, but they've got their wireless ones. Now their newest ones don't support HomeKit, so if you're looking for native HomeKit and wireless, you really only have two options that I can think of, and that's Eufy and Arlo. Arlo doesn't support HomeKit Secure Video, so if HomeKit Secure Video is really important to you, then Eufy is really your only option that I can think of for wireless. So, yeah. Let me know, am I forgetting any, guys? I think that's all there is. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna try to get to some of these questions in the chat that I missed earlier. Yep. Okay, so we talked about that. Yeah, if you have any other questions about iOS 16.5 and 1.3, let me know. Like I said, I'm mostly excited about the update to the Google app on iOS. I've actually got a video coming out where I was adding some Matter stuff. You'll see me using an Android phone to get that thing into Google. Hey folks, sorry I'm late. Dan coming in with his membership chat, monthly membership chat. Member for 16 months. Thank you, Dan, for being a member for 16 months. That's awesome. Hey folks, sorry I'm late. If Shane doesn't get to your question, make sure you join the channel Discord and hang out with us in Discord. Yes, thank you so much, Dan, for that. I did post, again, the link, and there's a join button down there somewhere if you're watching on YouTube. Should be by the subscribe button, but I also pinned a comment where you can join our Discord. It's a members only Discord server, but we have lots of sections in there. Here, I'll pull it up since Dan mentions it. Again, let's see, here you go. So you can see we've got official links, we've got announcements, YouTube videos, so that's kind of we've got some resources and stuff in here. HomeKit questions. We got a place for HomeKit questions. We got some fun stuff like HomeKit Showcase, where we're showcasing some fun stuff. And Apple products, cameras, lights, plugs and switches. There's some new stuff I need to get in here and check out too from today. But yeah, good place. Lots of great people over there in the Discord. Thank you, Dan, for that. Question, did you see HomeKit Insider latest video? Pretty good for the iOS update and threat update. Yeah, I did catch some of that. I don't know if I got to listen to the whole thing. I think that was the one with Jennifer from The Verge on it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so good stuff there. Thank you for that, Paul. Good recommendation. Check that out for maybe a more in-depth explanation of the thread and iOS update. So yeah, I did catch some of that. Chris Ford, question, what is the light next to the HomePod behind you? Looks great. Is it also HomeKit? Oh yeah, so I can't see, it looks like, okay, there we go. Yeah, so usually I think it's more of like a red color in my videos, but like I said, I was playing around with the colors. That is actually the Yeelight cubes. So I did a video, I don't know if you saw that video. Let me see if I can go to my YouTube channel. This right here. Here, I'll drop a link to it. So that is the Yeelight cubes. I've got, and they do support HomeKit because they support Matter, as you can see. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them right over there. I've got another 6 of them back here. You can't see. They actually have little spotlights shining on the wall and a clock and stuff. Pretty cool little device right there. If you haven't checked those out yet. Brian says still digging those Yeelights. Yeah, Brian got a bunch of the Yeelights, right? Brian, how many did you end up getting? I know you were thinking about ordering some more, I believe, at one point. Yeah, I've got a total of 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I think I've got a total of 12 of them. But yeah, pretty cool. Oh, Brian's got 10. All right, catching up. I like it. Okay, let's see. Questions. Did Belkin discontinue the Wemo Thread dimmer switch? I can't find it available anywhere. I think some of you guys are talking about this. Forgive me if this question has been answered. I don't know that it was discontinued. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it looks like I found it here. So this is the Wemo dimmer switch with thread, support for Apple HomeKit. Yeah, it looks like it's here. I'll drop an affiliate link for you in the chat. I do use one of these in my house right now. So I did a review on it a while ago, and that is the one you were talking about. Yeah, the dimmer switch. Yep. Had to go with their Wi-Fi version. Interesting. Huh, it does seem to be available right here. In fact, it was even a sponsored listing on Amazon. Yeah, I'm using one of those, and it works well unless I'm having issues with my Thread networks, which does happen sometimes. But I'm pretty sure that's a HomeKit issue because sometimes I don't know if you guys have issues like that, but sometimes all my Thread devices will get a little wonky, and it's almost always because of my HomeKit hubs. Question, can you do an in-depth tutorial on setting up the Acara FP2? I'm struggling to dial in the setup. I don't know if I'll do an in-depth tutorial. I mean, my video is pretty in-depth. I guess I didn't go I think that video was already pretty long. Let's see, how long was that video? Yeah, 15 minutes. I did go through the setup there. I guess I didn't go real deep into it every step, but yeah, what kind of issues are you having with the setup? I mean, I think I mentioned this in the video, that FP2 is one of those devices that you really are going to have to just spend some time on it. It's definitely not a plug and play type of device for sure. This up is really, really cumbersome. Even the Acara rep I agreed talked to. Yeah, and there have been some updates. I see Lone Star Trent's asking about that. There has been at least 1 or 2 updates to the FP2 since I've had it, but I've had it for a little while. But I think there was one fairly recently. Chris says, do you think other companies will get into the wave sensor game? I don't understand why Eve hasn't put one out. I don't know. That's a good question. I would love to see a company like Eve drop one of those, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. Yeah, it's definitely the only one we've got for HomeKit. And you guys do preface your question with the word question in your comment. That way it'll kind of be highlighted for me so I don't miss it. I'll try to get to all those at least. And if I do miss your comment, I apologize, but I'm going to try to get to everybody, at least to all the questions that I can. Lone Star Trent said, did you see the Wemo bad news? Yeah, and I think the bad news is just that they're not planning to support Matter, I believe, is what you're referring to. Which, I mean, yeah, I kind of get it, but yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I'd like to see all the companies supporting Matter moving forward, but yeah, I believe that's the bad news from Wemo that Lone Star Trent is referring to. Oh, I did forget about this. Looking forward to the Acara U100 lock and their light strip. I'm glad you said this, Jay, because let's see if I can jump over to, I don't know, I'll go to Twitter because I meant to flag this so I could bring it up earlier when we were kind of going through new things. So, check this out. If you haven't seen this, Acara's been doing this lately with all their new products. So they dropped this I first saw it on Instagram. I'm on Instagram more than I am Twitter, but this is on Twitter. They did drop this today. Was this today? 6 hours ago. Unlock the future with our upcoming launch arriving May 30th. Our upcoming product boasts cutting-edge features like supporting up to 50 unique fingerprints and an ultra-precise fingerprint reader with 98.6% recognition rate. Launching May 30th. So there you go. I know I've been getting questions about that. When's that going to launch? That's clearly the lock that they're referring to right there. So yeah, May 30th. It's coming. Who's going to get one? Amazon took the U100 off the listing now. Yeah, that's right. So there was there's been some Amazon issues going on. First with the stuff with Eve we were talking about earlier, that listing, and then apparently there was an issue with the Acara listing as well for the U100. So if you guys missed that, we did talk about this a little bit last week, so I won't harp on it too much. But yeah, what was that like? Maybe, I guess that was early last week. The U100 was available on Amazon, and this thing is not supposed to be out yet. So somehow a very limited run became available, and I do know a number of people who were able to order one and have gotten them before they're even supposed to start shipping. So that's crazy, but it did happen, and that's what I think Howard, is referring to. They've taken that listing down, I guess. It's been saying unavailable. You have been able to find it on there, but it said unavailable. It was really weird because I was like, what's going on? This thing's not supposed to come out for a while. But yeah, that's what happened. So some lucky people have gotten them. Lone Star Trent 2 here. So you're going to get 2. Howard has 3 U100 installed, but still very buggy from my experience. So did you get them early from the listing? That kind of, that accidental, that oopsie listing that went up? Chris says, got my Acara lock and it's working fantastic. Awesome, good to hear that. So Chris was one of the ones that got one early. Howard, let me know what issues are you having with your lock. I'm curious to hear about it. Still showing as uncertified accessory, however, HomeKit works. Yeah, so that's probably because the product is not supposed to be out yet. So I test, as you probably know, a lot of products here, and a lot of the ones that I get to test early before their actual release date will say they'll have that uncertified accessory when you try to add it to HomeKit. That's probably because they're still going through the certification process or whatever, and it hasn't been officially finalized. So I assume that by the time this thing starts really shipping, like when it's supposed to launch on May 30th, that will be taken care of and it will be, officially certified by then. Howard, yeah, did get them by accident. Okay. Let's see. Logan has a question. I see Brian trying to answer that. I have some trouble adding my old Wise bulbs from HomeBridge to HomeKit. The bulbs show up in HomeBridge, but not HomeKit. Do I need to rescan the bridge into HomeKit every time I add? So I didn't think Wise bulbs support HomeKit on their own. Am I wrong about that? I've never used any Wise bulbs. If anybody has them, let me know. But I'm pretty sure they do not support HomeKit. Am I wrong? I'm looking them up. Let's see. Here's the Wise bulbs. Trying to find what they work with. Voice control, Google Assistant, Alexa or Google Assistant. Yeah, I don't think they support HomeKit. So Jeff says Wise via HomeBridge. Do you think? Okay, maybe I misunderstood the question. Having trouble adding them old Wise bulbs from HomeBridge. Oh, okay. So you're trying to get them. So you're trying to go through HomeBridge. Okay. Well, that's a whole different animal there. It's probably an issue with your plug-in there. It's too much to probably get into during a live stream, but yeah, I think I am confusing that with Wiz. I was thinking those actually at first. Thorough Smart Home is in the house. What's going on? Thanks, Thorough Smart Home, for that. Yeah, so he's trying to use HomeBridge. I misunderstood. I thought he was trying to stop using HomeBridge and go directly into HomeKit, because it's the Wiz bulbs. I think you can now do that through Matter, through the Philips Hue bridge. It's getting confusing. Let's see. Tomas, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Have you seen that they're using your face in the Maris app? I have not seen that they're using my face in the Maris app. I would love for somebody to send me a screenshot or something of that. Yeah, they're probably not supposed to be doing that, but yeah, it happens. So thanks for pointing that out. I have not seen that. I actually don't. I use a few of the Maris devices, but that's actually the one giving me trouble over here that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, I don't use the app very often. I usually get them into HomeKit and then boom, just use Home app for everything. Okay, question, where's the best place to order the roller shade driver? I can't find them anywhere in the US. Yeah, we were just talking about this earlier. You can't order these in the US. They don't ship here. So you'll have to go to one of those like international shipping sites, something like like Alibaba is one. What's another one? I'm drawing a blank. I'll find it. Somebody else knows. Drop a question. Drop the comment in here. What's some of those international shipping sites? GearBest. GearBest is one. And Alibaba is another one. AliExpress. Thank you. That's the one I was thinking of. Appreciate that, Alexis. AliExpress. That's the one I was trying to think of. GearBest is another one. So there's a few of these like international shipping sites where you can order stuff. Often from like the China marketplace and get them shipped anywhere. Just be careful on those sites on what you're ordering. Sometimes the listings can be a little funny, and make sure you're ordering, what you really want to order, the right thing. And Jeff from Michigan says, don't use Wish. I have never used Wish, so appreciate the advice there. All right, I'm going to try to get back up to a couple of the questions. Thank you for bearing with me. If you asked a question, I'm going to try to get to everybody. Question, are you able to get a discount code that works in the UK, such as Eve, only sell via Amazon in UK? So the Eve code for the Eve website should work in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Let me just double check that because I think I showed. Let's see. Yeah, it should include. Yeah, that should be worldwide. So I put the code down in the description. That's not for Amazon though. Oh, you said Eve only sells via Amazon in the UK. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. My bad. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Eve doesn't ship from their website in the UK. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any Amazon codes right now for Eve. I only have the one that it only works on their website. So I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that Eve didn't ship to the UK from their website. I thought they kind of pretty much ship worldwide on their site. Okay, questions. What do you think about fingerprints and rain? What fingers won't work? I guess that's a good thing. We got Apple HomeKit and your Apple Watch. I just use my watch all the time. I guess a fingerprint would be nice, but I'm so used to using my watch to get into the door that that's my habit now. But yeah, I mean, with those smart locks, you've got like a ton of ways, and I think most people probably have like a covered porch or something, just kind of do it like that. If you got a little wet walking to the door or something, I think you'd be all right. Any news or rumors when Hunter Douglas will bring out HomeKit blinds or the new Eve motion blinds that support Matter? That was at CES. I have not heard anything about that. I don't know much about Hunter Douglas blinds, or I know they have their shades and stuff that support HomeKit. I don't know if they're planning on doing any blinds. I think right now the only brand that ships HomeKit enabled smart blinds in the US right now is Lutron Serena. They have some, they're very expensive, but their smart blinds will work with HomeKit. Eves, I don't know if or when. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to come to the US. I'm pretty sure I was told they'll come to the US later this year, but I don't know when. I haven't heard anything about that since CES. But I hope they do. I hope they do sometime this year because those were awesome. That was really exciting to see those. That was the first time I saw any blinds that work in HomeKit out of the box like that can both tilt and raise. So you can actually, the motor was so strong on those that they actually raised the blinds as well as just tilt them, which is really cool, I thought. Yeah, gloved hands in the winter won't work either. Yeah, that's true for the fingerprint. I'm lucky around here it doesn't get too cold. I might wear gloves like 2 days out the year, if that. U100 does not require a hub for HomeKit via Bluetooth. However, to use advanced functionalities, you will need a Acara hub for advanced setup and automation. Yes, very true. Thank you, Howard. Oh, Green Arrow has the Hunter Douglas shades. Work great in my house via HomeKit. I feel the same as Shane. Shade automation is so cool. It is. Oh, man. I love it. I spent so much time every day going around my house because I have so many windows, and I had the pull cords just to tilt the blinds. I walk by, boom, boom, pull and open every single one every day because I like the natural light. And then every night when it would get dark, I have to go by and pull every one. So I'm loving it. Brian says, got to pick up some photography gloves if you get in a Acara U100 so you can quickly remove. Oh, yeah, good. True. That will work. Get to that fingerprint scanner. All right, some more questions up here. Question, do you know how much the Acara 100 will cost? Maybe somebody that bought one can tell us. Did anybody, okay, there you go, $189 US. I thought it was even cheaper than that, actually, but yeah, $189 US is what Chris paid for on Amazon. So thank you. Rick Udlaw says, which A19 bulb has the best quality? I use Nanoleaf right now and they have great connectivity, but the colors aren't as vibrant as I would like. Yeah, that's the thing about the Nanoleaf bulbs. So I should say, first of all, I don't use a lot of smart bulbs, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. I am a fan of Nanoleaf, so I don't really, like you saw that if you watched this last video, I did use one smart bulb in that little setup at the nursery. That was a Nanoleaf bulb. I do like those, but you're right, the colors aren't super bright. Their whites are extremely bright on those bulbs. But I don't really know the best to recommend outside of that. Maybe some other people who use a lot of them can recommend something in the chat here. But yeah, I use Nanoleaf. You know, typically the colors are just for accents and doesn't need to be super bright anyway. So it's kind of okay for what I like. And I do like the thread, the connectivity. They support Matter now, the new ones. So yeah, that's typically what I use. Thorough Smart Home says, what are your thoughts on the most recent iOS update to 16.41a? Honestly, I haven't even looked into like the updates on that really too much. I'm looking into 16.5 is what we were talking about earlier. So I don't know if there's anything specific, let me know. But yeah, I'm ready for 16.5. I keep checking to see if it's there. Hue all the way, George says. Thank you, George. Yeah, Philips Hue is good. They're expensive, require a hub, of course. But, you know, yeah, they do have good colors and stuff. I don't think I have any of their color bulbs, though. I do have one of their light strips still to this day. Let's see. Jordy, forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong. When trying to add my SwitchBot Hub 2 to Matter in HomeKit, it just fails, says it cannot be added. I really want this working. I saw your comment over in the Discord server, and I did reply to you. So let's go in there afterwards. I'll try to help you troubleshoot because I've definitely messed with, you know, the SwitchBot stuff quite a bit in the Hub 2. I just set up a new one again in that nursery. That was another one of the things that I did. So I'll try to help you troubleshoot that. If it says it cannot be added. Yeah, I mean, there's some steps we'll probably need to go through to try to figure that out, but it's probably an issue with, either the Wi-Fi network, or it could be your HomeKit hub. There's some things to look at depending on kind of where you're at in the process. So yeah, go back to the Discord and we'll try to see if we can get that worked out for you. Let's see. Is it possible for a device to function without Matter, such as a Bluetooth device? Can you configure a device through a Matter hub to make it work with Matter? Not sure I understand the question. Yeah, so Brian says Matter isn't a connection protocol like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or Thread, so you can't update a device to Matter if it doesn't support it. Yeah, so that is correct, Brian. And Baba is Trolling says, is it possible for a device to function without Matter? So yeah, it has to support Matter, and the device has to support Matter itself. So I think I understand what you're trying to say. If you're using like a hub that supports Matter, can you get a device that doesn't support Matter to connect to that hub and then support Matter? That's not really the case. Like, the device has to support Matter too. So we were just talking about SwitchBot. That's a good example. SwitchBot has a bunch of Bluetooth products, right? So they've got the blind tilts, they've got the curtains, they've got the SwitchBot little button pressers, they've got, what else? They've got contact sensors. A lot of them support Bluetooth. Now they have the SwitchBot hub too, but you can only add the blind tilts and the curtains to that hub to support Matter. You can add all those other devices to the hub to connect, like through the SwitchBot app, but only the blind tilts and the curtains support Matter as like child devices. Therefore, those are the only ones that can be kind of updated to support Matter. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that answers the question. Oh, another vote for Philips Hue. Mike Q says, yeah, if you can get past the price, I think Philips Hue, it's hard to beat. They've been around so long. Reliability's there. The price is just, not fun. But if you're kind of getting a bunch of bulbs and stuff like that, Philips Hue is probably a good option. Bruce says, planning on upgrading to a mesh network. Any tips on switching all my devices to the new network? No, not really. So when you're to a mesh network. Okay, sorry. I'm just, all this Thread and Matter talk, I'm just like automatically thinking Thread when I read network. That's my bad. So upgrading to a mesh network, so like your Wi-Fi network, I guess is what you're talking about. So the advice that I would give is, if you can, probably the best thing to do is just, if you have a bunch of devices already, like smart home stuff connected, if you can keep the same SSID, which is like your username and password for the network. When you set up your new mesh network, if you use the same username and password there as the old one, most of your Wi-Fi devices should automatically connect to that network and you won't have to reset everything up. That's the ideal situation. Personally, I use a mesh network as well. I use a combined SSID, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. I actually have 6 gigahertz also, but that it's kind of irrelevant. Nothing really uses 6 gigahertz. So I use, mine is combined, SSID. This is kind of an ongoing debate. There's going to be a lot of people that say you should split your networks. You should use 2.4 separately than your 5 gigahertz. That's up for debate. Some people prefer that. Some people don't. Most of these mesh networks nowadays, especially if you're not, like a network engineer or something, you're just kind of an everyday person that just wants to get something, set it up and make it work easily. Most of these mesh systems that you buy nowadays, you can buy it out of the box, take it out of the box, set it up, use that combined SSID with your 2.4 and 5 gigahertz networks. It's smart enough to know, you know, if you're using a smart home device, it'll connect it to the right network, usually without any issues, regardless of it being, you know, a combined network like that. So that's the way I go, and that's what I do personally. Again, there's going to be other people that'll tell you to do it the other way. Lone Star Trent says if you're using static IPs, you'll have to reset that up. Okay, good tip there. So if you have set up a bunch of static IPs, you may have to reset those up. Let's see, any other comments? Lone Star Trent says use the same SSID and password. Everything will just connect to the new network. Yep. So like I said, if you're lucky, that should work well. There are, you know, there's some exceptions, obviously, but most of the time that will work, and you'll be okay. I will also say give it some time. So, you know, sometimes you get a little impatient when you're trying to set up new stuff. You just want everything to work. When you do this, give it some time. Don't get impatient and start removing stuff from HomeKit and everything like that immediately if you don't see it connect, because it will take a while sometimes for those devices to move over and like connect to the new network. And if you don't see them connect to the new network, often just a simple unplug and plug back in, like say a smart plug, for example, and just kind of that little reboot will kind of kick it into gear and it'll reconnect to that new network. So that's been my experience, and hopefully that helps, because it can be tedious. It can be a pain switching to a new network for sure. Many of us have been there. Alexis, member for 6 months. Thank you for being a member, first of all, for 6 months. Says, I think it's time to nuke my smart home and start from scratch. Oh man, that hurts. That hurts my heart. In what order would you start adding your devices? Whew, that's tough to answer, because I don't know why. It must be bad for you to nuke your smart home. And maybe you don't have too many devices. That would be the worst thing for me to have to do, is to nuke my smart home and start from scratch. But if I was to do it, what order would I start adding devices? I mean, I'd probably start with my bridge devices first. You know, Philips Hue, Acara, anything that connects to a bridge, just because that'll bring in all the child accessories automatically. And from there, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that it really matters necessarily in what order you add them, but I'd probably start with my bridge devices. Man, I hope that goes well. That's hard to hear, man. I feel your pain. Suggestions to automate blinds with a cord tilt. Oh, we got it. That's a super chat too. Thank you for the super chat. We'll hit the button, the super chat button.
Super chat.
Thank you, Daniel. Suggestion to automate blinds with a cord tilt. I have Hunter Douglas model, but they say I can't add a wand to it unless I replace the whole blind. So, Daniel, I don't know if you saw my video on the tilt, on the SwitchBot blind tilts. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me get back to my channel. I'll put a link. Well, yeah, I'll put a link to that video in the chat. If you haven't watched that, you can rewatch that one, because so all of my blinds in my house were actually the pull cord type as well. I'm not sure what kind of blind. I mean, you said Hunter Douglas. I'm assuming they're just non-smart, regular Hunter Douglas blinds, but most blinds you can change the little tilt mechanism that's in there. You know, like yours is a pull cord. That's how all of mine were also. Excuse me. And I changed all mine actually originally a couple years ago. So if you go way back in my channel, or you just search through my videos, you can find an older video. It was the Soma tilt where I did all my blinds. And I first started using the Soma tilt everywhere, and that's when I changed them all. And the reason I did that is because those required the little tilt wand thing, just like the new SwitchBot ones. But anyways, I just changed out the tilt mechanism, and I talked about it in both of those videos. So the new one and the older one where I made all my blinds smart. I talked about this, but you can order the wand. Here, let me see. I'll pull it up for you since you're on here. So what I did was I went to a site called fixmyblinds.com, and they've got all the parts here, right? So you kind of just measure out your blinds and see these tilt mechanisms right here. So you can see a lot of these, like there's some pull cord types, but then you got these right here. So those are mini, but yeah, you just measure and you get the right kind. And I just replaced the pull cord mechanism with the little twisty mechanism, basically. And if you do that, then you can use something like the SwitchBot blind tilt, and that worked for me. So hopefully that'll help you. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all watching, and I appreciate the good comments. And every time you guys leave a nice comment, it really does mean the world to me. As doing these YouTube videos, you get people that leave these nasty comments sometimes, and I think people forget we're just people. We're just normal people, and then all the good comments really do make a difference. So thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Saw some more questions up here I'll try to get to real quick. Question: how can I generate a HomeKit QR code? Old sticker damaged, but I have the code. Do you recommend some printer? I don't know if there's a way to generate a new one. A good thing that you still have the code, I guess the number. I don't know if there's a way to do that without the original code. So I do use a few apps like the Controller for HomeKit app, and also you can use the HomePass app. I use both of those for storing codes, and you can actually save QR codes in there, but I don't think you can generate one without the original one. But I would still just use that to save the code. Yeah, I don't know of a way to do that. And I usually use those apps to store all my codes anyways, because with so many devices, I pretty much assume I'm gonna lose some. And then, especially those outdoor products, you can't rely on those stickers. Obviously like yours has been damaged on there. Mike Q says, if I had to start from scratch, I would give up. I'm 200 devices or so. I feel you, Mike. I do feel you. That, like I said, that hurts my heart right there. That would be rough. That would be a rough day if I had to start from scratch. I feel you on that. Daniel, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for watching. I'm glad the videos help. Question: if you have the FP2, can you set up an automation if you're watching the Apple TV? If you leave the zone, it will pause your show. So I don't know. I don't think you can do that, because I don't think you can automate the Apple TV to pause. I know you can get it to like pause audio, like a speaker, but I don't think it'll pause what you're watching. But I don't know. I haven't tried that. That would be worth trying. I mean, it would be a simple automation. You could try it with just the motion sensor or anything just to see. It would be on the Apple TV side, not the FP2. I'm not sure if you have that functionality with the Apple TV, though, to be able to pause natively in HomeKit what you're watching. That might work, though. I don't know. Like I said, I know you can play and pause media, but I think that only works for audio. Oh, Chris says there are QR code generators. As long as you have the code, it should work. Okay, very good. So I wasn't sure, if that would work. I know you can do that with like regular QR codes, but I wasn't sure if that would work with something like a HomeKit code or not. But yeah, maybe it will. Cool. Thank you, Chris. Is there a way to have an automation disable other automations, like a vacation automation that just turns off a bunch of other automations? So what I would do for this green arrow is, let me see if I can find a video that I did, and I'll put a link to it. So check out this video, Chris, if you haven't watched this one yet. Share, copy. You may have seen this, but check that one out if not. But this basically talks about that. So the way I would handle that in HomeKit is to create dummy switches essentially. So it's really easy to do if you're using something like Homebridge or even Habitat. You can create dummy switches. So if you're using something like that, you can just create these virtual switches. Basically, you can have a vacation mode, dummy switch. And then in your automations, you just add your dummy switch in as a condition so that like if the dummy switch is on or off or however you set it up, then it will run the automation. Otherwise it won't. So that's what I talked about in that video, basically using those virtual switches. You can also just use like a smart plug if you don't have Homebridge or anything like that set up. Of course it would require a physical switch somewhere. You'd have to put that plug somewhere, and you could use that to turn it on and off for like a vacation mode or whatever. But yeah, that's the way I would go on about it. Oh, look at that. The wife is on here for the first time. How about that? So I put her in a video and then she created a YouTube account. She never watches YouTube. I have to force her to watch my videos sometimes. And yeah, I put her on a video, so then she created an account so she could go in and leave comments. What was that? About a month or two ago, we did the Smart Home Wife. That was when we did it. And yeah, you guys remember last week, if you were here, I was getting those phone calls. Oh boy, I was giving her a hell. She was calling me, and then my daughter was texting me, and yeah, all the interruptions. Because I only have like 2, maybe 3 people that can break through my focus modes. And of course, all of them were trying to contact me during last week's live stream. So thank you for not calling me today, babe. I appreciate it. It's nice to have you in the chat. Robert says that means it's time to go. You might be right. I think we're good, though. I think we're good. Also, thank you for the Smart Home Nursery. I'm on my way to set one up. Oh, very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I hope that video is helpful to people. It was a lot of fun because I've always said for years now, I've been saying, man, I just wish I was into all this smart home stuff when I had kids, when my kids were young, and I didn't get into it till my kids were quite a bit older, at least, I think my youngest was at least probably 6 or maybe 8 when I started getting into it. And it would be cool. So that was a lot of fun to go in and do all the things that I would do if I was having a kid right now. That was a lot of fun. Frederick says, Caroline, I love the last video with you in it. Hope to see you in more videos. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Frederick. Yeah, and I didn't tell her. Some of you guys were saying, some of y'all were saying we need to see her in more videos. I think last week we're saying that. I didn't tell her that, but now I guess she knows. So you should join Discord next. All right, guys. Now, easy now. Be careful what you wish for. That could end badly. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all don't want me on Discord. Yeah. And my daughter, every now and then, she'll jump in on these live streams too, but she's not today. She's at practice today. All right, you guys are awesome. All right, well, with all that said, I am going to cut the stream. I do got to pick up my daughter from practice in a little while. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Always cool hanging out, talking smart home and HomeKit with you guys. New video coming this Sunday. So we've got a new product that supports Matter we'll be talking about in this week's video. I've got some more videos. Hit the hit the bell icon, because hopefully maybe next week I'll have an additional video outside of my normal schedule. I'm gonna try to do that every now and then when I can. I know I've said that before, but it gets hard. But at least every Sunday, new video. Hopefully we'll have some additional ones drop here and there. And yeah, it was fun as always, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. Again, if you want any of those Eve products, check out that discount code down there below in the description. You can use that over on their website. And until next week, we'll see you later. Bye.